Warning, this video may contain content which is disturbing to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Don't you love it when you just come back from your Christmas vacation and the only thing that you really want to do is play more of this? Like, what is this? Like, what sort of cruel fate has this world bestowed upon me that this is the thing that I want to do? This was recorded in the new year. It wasn't recorded previous to that. I just get back home, and this is what's on my mind, because it's so weird and terrible. It's funny. Alright. Let's load up, and yep, Sayori's still gone. Well, let's make this for Sayori. Oh, sadness. That got you? Natsuki? That's weird. Sadness, rainbow, oop. There we go. Daydream, memories, music. Broken. Unstable. Breathe. Like, this game has not been a good one. We just passed over a climax, and I am most certainly not feeling bliss. Instead, I'm just have the misfortune of being brought back into this agonizing adventure that really doesn't make any sense, and definitely doesn't have an infinite number of solutions, and has led me to some anger with this. That's Natsuki's again? Huh. But at the same time, you can't help but make me look at this tragedy and wish for a little bit of peace. Hello, Monica, the meta person, because I know you are. You have to be. You have to be. Like, nobody else makes sense. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. Ha ha ha. Oh, I did run away for like the entire Christmas break. Seriously, I was gone for like several days. But you wouldn't know that because this is probably being released the same week after the previous episode. But no. Don't worry, Monica, I'm going to stick around for a while longer. This might be a little strange for me, but I at least keep my word. Did I say that? I don't remember. Well, I'm back at the literature club. Boy howdy. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out. Thanks for keeping your promise, Moon, and why is your face going weird? Uh-huh. When this was supposed to be... like, this was going to be glitchy, but I didn't realize that Yuri was going to be this glitchy. But, you know, it's possible that her character file... Okay, weird thing that I have figured out about this game has character files hidden away in its directory. Also, why is she so close? She's closer than usual. Anyways, this game has character files, and it's possible that during some of the shenanigans that happened previous to this, that part of Sayori's file got caught up with Yuri's, since we hung out with Yuri a lot. It could be that, or it could be something else. I don't know. Or maybe I'm just going off on a different train of thought. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Well, it isn't. Making you to dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it. Oh, stop that. Also, this is tilted. Seriously, this feels tilted. Yeah, it's tilted. Oh, come on. Oh, come on, like he deserves any slack. You already had to be dragged here by Monica. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what, but if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it. She's in front of the text box. Like, I know what this line is. Natsuki, you sure have a big mouth for someone who keeps their manga collection in the club room. But you don't... Why? Why? Manga is... okay. Alright. We are revisiting some of the old dialogue. So... Oh, look at that tilt. It's tilting me. It's annoying. Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. I'm sorry, Moonin. We'll make sure to put your comfort first, okay? You're not making me comfortable at all. This is very uncomfortable because everything is tilted and it's not right. Yuri shoots Natsuki with a disappointed glance, with a little button mouth. Anyway, now that you're in the club and all, perhaps you might have interest in picking up a book to read. Well, I can't really say no either way. Like you said, I'm in this club now, so it only feels right for me to do something like that if you ask. Well, wait, I didn't mean it like that. Yuri, you're weird. If you don't really want to, then forget I said anything, I guess. Boy. She's just really not prepared for this vice president role. No, it's not that, Yuri. I want to try to be a part of this club. So even if I don't read often, I'd be happy to pick up a book if you wanted me to. I recently started reading Ayn Rand's, what was it, Atlas Shrugged? And I don't like it so far. Like, I do not like it. It puts me on a tilt like this, and it's really annoying. But this isn't about my reading habits. I don't know. Are you sure? I just felt like, well, as vice president and all, that I should help you get started on something you might like, as long as it's not Ayn Rand. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention even if you don't usually read, and we could, you know, discuss it if you wanted. I thought this was usually the offering after the first poem reading, but I guess it's changed since she's become VP. But, you know, this is... How is this girl accidentally being so cute? Well... clearly you don't know anything that's happened, which puts me at a rather striking oddity with our player character. She even picked out a book she thinks I'll like, despite me not reading much. Yuri, thank you, I'll definitely read this. I enthusiastically take the book. Phew. She almost flew off the screen. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I'll definitely read it at my own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think. As long as it's not Ayn Rand. Ah, now it's back! Oh, why? Why? Well, it's because Sayori's gone and the whole thing has gone a little bit topsy-turvy because of that. So you know, everything's going weird. Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monica to kick off some scheduled activities for the club. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a bit more, but at the same time I would feel bad for distracting her from reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book that she lent to me. She's got multiple copies. That's not really weird. I've got multiple copies of The Hobbit, but, you know. I think I planned on getting some of them as like Christmas gifts or some such and never got around to actually giving them to people, which is a bit unfortunate, so I don't know. It's a weird thing. More than that, she seems to be on the first few pages, probably because she's rereading it for today. Crap. I think she noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me and our eyes meet for a split second. Is this because we hung out in the last route? Or is it because this is just how this route goes? I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. Maybe it's Natsuki who ends up being the lead if you pick her over Yuri at the end of there. Maybe. I don't know, and quite frankly, I don't want to know, at least right now. I'll figure it out on my own and in my own time. So no spoilers for anybody, especially in the comments section. ... But that only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry, I was just spacing out. I mutter this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. But I'm just rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book you gave me, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to reread some of it. What is the book? I need to know. Not for any particular reason. Just curious, how come you have 2 copies of the same book? She's going to say something along the lines of, oh, you think I only have 2 copies? Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday, that's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy 2 of them. Ah, dang it, I'm wrong. No Joseph Joestar in me. I see. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decide to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Why don't you start reading it instead of spacing out around the bloody literature club and looking at the pretty lady? Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's the story about, anyway? Why don't you read the book? Well, I look at the cover of the book. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. The only thing I know Markov from is from the Magic the Gathering stuff where it's the name of a vampire family. So it's quite possible that it's a tale about vampires, but I could be wrong. There's an ominous looking eye symbol on the front cover. Probably not vampires then. Basically, it's about this religious camp that was turned into a human experiment prison. Oh. Was that a legitimate thing that happened? I'm really tempted to look. Alright, quick break. I'm doing research. Well, the first thing that comes up on Google is not, in fact, human experimentation, but it's actually something about probability theory. And something to do with shenanigans. I don't know. Chance process or whichever. Which is weird, but doesn't seem to have anything to do with human experiments. But then again, you know, I could be wrong, or I could just not have done enough research. And the people trapped there have this trait that turns them into killing machines that lust for blood. Okay, it's not real. I should have just clicked forward instead of deciding, hey look, Google, please tell me. But the facility gets even worse, and they start selectively breeding people by cutting off their limbs and affixing them to... Oh, that might be a little bit of a spoiler. I think so. But anyway, I'm really into it. The book, I mean, not human experimentation, that would be bad. Also, please stop Frankensteining people in your basement. Not the thing about the limbs. Sure. That's kind of dark, isn't it? Yuri made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, then so that dark turn came from nowhere. I mean, it's got an ominous looking eye on the front. The premise was about a religious camp that had been turned into an human experiment thing. It goes nowhere up from there. Now, unless you're really having a weird thing, but yeah, nope. Yeah. Are you not a fan of that sort of thing, Moonin? No, it's not that. I mean, I can definitely enjoy those kinds of stories, so don't worry. I hope so, she says, smiling to herself and holding her neck, that thing, red tie. That's a tick she has. Weird. Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri is into those things. What? What? I swear it wasn't mentioned previously, right? It wasn't mentioned last episode that she was into this sort of thing? What? What? Okay. Weird. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but her mind seems to be completely different. Also, editor, if you see, when you see this, put up into the top right corner whether or not that was actually the case, because I'm curious. It's just that this kind of story, it's the kind that challenges you to look at life from a strange new perspective. Definitely from the end of a person's arm. When horrible things happen not just because someone wants to be evil, but because the world is full of horrible people and we're all worthless anyway. I feel like that... Why? Why is this doing this? Like, I have to ask. Then suddenly... I'm rambling, aren't I? Why did your text turn colors and start sliding off the page? Something's very wrong right now. Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. And we notice nothing wrong with this, because I feel like what? I haven't lost interest or anything. No, I haven't. My interest has in fact been piqued by this whole words sliding off the page thing. Well, I guess it's alright then. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, my whole body gets incredibly... censored. That's what it was. I should have saved so that I could get a better look at that, but you know, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people, so I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much, because otherwise my words will fly off the page. I really don't think you need to worry. I think she needs to worry because I think she's got a case of the game possession. That just means you're passionate about reading. And with demon possession, or game possession. I'm gonna call it game possession because it's not demons. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. That's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? Stop that! Stop! Stop the twitchy and the falling off the page and all of that nonsense. And Natsuki, stop glitching on the side of the screen and don't turn the bloody place sideways again. Also, don't zoom in, because that makes me uncomfortable. Yes, I mean you don't have to, but what are you saying, Miss Glitch Lady? Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book that I had put into my bag. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? I slip it to the seat next to Yuri's, next to the Glitch Lady, who's looking very uncomfortable and is currently grabbing at her red string as if she's very uncomfortable. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to, it's just something I'm not very used to, because Natsuki lives on the other end of the classroom and reads manga, and meanwhile Monika is basically gone. I don't know where Monika is, I don't know where she is at any point. We have pretty much treated her as non-existent this entire bloody thing. That is, reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. Alright. I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing. Maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. If she wasn't a glitch lady, of course, that's the addendum that should be put on all of this. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. because, of course, I'm reading with or are they just... I don't know. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry, I was just bathing in the... What? 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 Why? Why? Why is this way? Why is it this way? Why do you have to make me uncomfortable? Why am I mind reading? I think that's what's going on. Why am I, the player, mind reading? I think that's what's going on here. Part of the veil has been pulled back and I'm able to mind read on Yuri because that's creepy and not. So I'm mind reading the creepy one, so yay. Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you? I do. Yes, you do. You also grab that string a lot. I don't really mean to. Sorry. I mean... Oh my gosh. Here, this should work, right? I slide to my desk until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them. Our character got a lot more comfortable with this sort of thing since the last loop, really. It's kind of weird. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here, she says, turning the pages. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger, whereas Monica, she's not at the computer, so she's somewhere off the screen. Also, this is a very pretty picture, I have to say. Like, it's pretty. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way, I turn a page and Yuri slides it under her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer together than before, and making everyone very uncomfortable. Especially Natsuki. And maybe Monica. Please, Monica, don't do anything rash. It's actually kind of distracting me. Of course it is, because you are a teenage boy. It's as if I can feel the warmth of Yuri's face, and she's in the corner of my vision, and you're a teenage boy. Are you ready? To turn the page. Sorry, I forgot to read because I was looking at you instead. Don't say that, that's kind of weird. I think I got a bit distracted for a second with you. Because, of course. I glance over at Yuri's face again and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a bit longer. It's probably the least I can do, since you've been so patient with me. To be fair, that's not a terrible thing, I guess. This isn't actually bad. Yeah, I say, stammering like an ignorant fool, because I am an ignorant fool. Thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it by my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey Yuri, this might be a silly thought, but the main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. I guess this may or may not have been a good thing, because the main character may or may not be very screwed up. No, I don't relate to this character at all. Definitely not. Really? I was just thinking the way she second-guesses things she says and all that. That's what you were talking about. Not the thing that happens later in the thing that is totally spooky and weird. Sorry, I thought you meant something else about her. Something else? Never mind, that's a spoiler. We didn't even get that far yet. So I don't know why that came into my head, because you're probably looking forward into the book because you're recollecting things about this character, yada yada, stuff and stuff. She turns evil. Yuri, are you feeling all right? Yuri's been a little fidgety ever since we started reading. You can rest if you're feeling sick or something. Your breathing is a little... My breathing? Yuri puts her hands on her chest as if to feel her heartbeat. I didn't even notice. Look at us, two fools reading a book together. Anyway, I'm fine. Whatever you say. I just need some water. Alright, don't push yourself. Yuri stands up and practically rushes out of the classroom, because her heart's beating a mile a minute. What on earth was that about? Her heart beating a mile a minute, didn't you hear what I just said? Moonin? Hi, Monica. I'm glad that you came out of nowhere. Did something happen just now? You were paying attention, right? Even if you weren't, you've probably noticed. I have no idea. Yuri was acting a little strange, I guess. So you don't know anything. Yep, I am an ignorant fool. Sorry, I can't say I do. Are you worried about her? Oh, no, not really. Uh-huh, whatever you say, Monica. I was just making sure that you didn't do anything to her. I feel like you're the one who we should be worried about doing stuff. No, nothing. Don't worry, I believe you, silly. Uh-huh. Yuri just does this sometimes. Yuri just does this sometimes, so it's nothing alarming. Uh-huh. Alright, if you say so, Monica. Anyway, why don't we start with sharing our poems with each other? Shouldn't we wait for Yuri? Well, she might be a while, so I figured we'd get started without her, because I want to make sure that she's not in this next scene. Is that okay? Yeah, I was just asking. I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book, then slip it back into my bag. Monica is creeping me out. Let's be honest, so I'm gonna go talk to Natsuki. I told Natsuki I was interested in her poems yesterday. It's probably only fair if I shared mine with her first. ... Question mark? Well, it's about what I expected from someone like you. That's a little blunt. Well, excuse me. It's not like I said it was bad. It just didn't evoke any emotions. It evoked plenty of emotions off of those random things that I picked because it went from thought to thought. So basically, it's not cute enough for your tastes. Do you want to get smacked? I'll pass. Sigh. Well, anyway, I guess I need to show you mine. Not that you'll like it. Yep, it's the same one. Okay. So, see my previous comments about this poem? Yeah, just see my previous comments. Yeah, I told you that you weren't going to like it. I like it. What? Just be honest. I am. Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it? Well, because everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff, so people don't even take my writing seriously. But isn't the point of poems for people to express themselves? Your writing style wouldn't make your message any less valid. Yes, exactly. I like when it's easy to read, but it hits you hard, like in this poem. Seeing everyone around you do great things can be really disheartening, so I decided to write about it. Yeah, I understand. But the other nice thing about simple writing is that it puts more weight on the wordplay. Like I set up for a rhyme at the end, but then made it fall flat on purpose. It helps bring out the feeling in that last line. So you did. I guess more went into that than I realized. That's what it means to be a pro. I'm glad you learned something. Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did you? Well, I kind of did, but we already learned this in the previous loop. Anyways, yeah, I guess not. I decided to humor her with that last comment. I don't really care how old everyone is, but if Natsuki is feeling proud, then I won't take that away from her. Hi, Monica. Hi, how are you? Hi, Hi, Moonin. Having a good time so far? You could... I'd say... pretty good. Yeah. Good. Glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the club, like new activities or things we can do better, I'm always listening. How about, not? Don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind, Monica. Of course I'll be afraid to bring things up, of course, because that's how things work. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Don't worry, Moonin. We're all a little embarrassed. Yada yada. Yes, stuff. Talking. Great job, Moonin. I was going ooh in my head while reading it. It's really metaphorical. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way it always counts when I put in some effort. That's not very fair. It isn't, but it sometimes works. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Yep. Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Sometimes I feel like Yuri's mind is just totally detached from reality. I don't mean that like it's a bad thing, though. But sometimes I get the impression that she's just totally given up on people. She spends so much time in her own head that it's probably a much more interesting place for her. But that's why she gets so happy when you treat her with a lot of kindness. I don't think she's used to being indulged like that. She must be really starved for social interaction, so don't blame her for coming on a little strongly. Like earlier, I think if she gets too stimulated, she ends up withdrawing and looking for alone time. Suddenly, the door opens. Yuri! I'm back. Did I miss anything? Not really. Well, we all started sharing our poems with each other. Eh? Already? I'm sorry for being late. No need to apologize. We still have plenty of time, so I'm more glad that you took all the time that you needed. Alright. Thanks, Monica. I suppose I should go get my poem now. Anyways, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry, I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good. Well, that's because I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know? I see. Well, let's read it then. Is this the same one? Hole in the wall, but he wasn't looking at me. Confused, I frantically glanced, but my burned eyes no longer see color. Talking, or simply poems on flat sheets of paper, the sound of frantic scrawling playing tricks on my ears. The room begins to crinkle, closing in on me. It's right there, he's right here, there. Swallowing my fears, I brandish my pen. Is this talking about... This is the fourth wall. This is her talking about the fourth wall. Hole in wall. But he wasn't looking at me. We don't interact with Monica at all. Confused, I frantically glance at my surroundings, but my burned eyes can no longer see color. Are there others in this room? Are they talking? Or are they simply poems on flat sheets of paper, the sound of frantic scrawling playing tricks on my ears? The room begins to crinkle, closing in on me. The air I breathe dissipates before it reaches my lungs. I panic, there must be a way out. It's right there, he's right there. Swallowing my fears, I brandish my pen. So, is she real, quote unquote? Is she supposedly part of this reality? Or is she just another one of these strange things that are writing over poems on flat sheets of paper? She seems different than that, or she perceives herself to be different. And it's quite possible that she is different than that, but I'm very concerned. Because I feel like that's what it's talking about. Hole in the fourth wall. Hole in fourth wall. Yeah. I'm kind of interested on revisiting what I said about the poem the first time. But yeah, with this in mind, this is clearly talking about the fourth wall. So what do you think? It's very freeform if that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. Yeah, that kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can be really powerful. What was that inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure if I know how to put it. I guess you could say that I had some kind of epiphany recently. Us entering this world. A weird thing breaking the fourth wall and entering into this world. This reminds me of Undertale's in that sense, because the human world is so distinct from the real world. So we as the player are very foreign to the world that you explore in that. Which is kind of interesting. I don't know. I might talk further on that at some point, but this is interesting. It's been influencing my poems a bit. My poems. Her speech. An epiphany. Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monika's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem, you blah blah blah. If you try so hard to make it perfect, blah 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 blah. Yes. Yep, that's the same point. Okay. Alright, Yuri. You're last. This seems like the route is trying to insist on me going and speaking to Yuri a lot, which is interesting. ... As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional. What was that? Question mark? Did I say that out loud? Yuri first covers her mouth, but ends up covering her whole face. He's going to hate me. Did we get mind-reading powers? I swear, we got mind-reading powers. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for? Yuri takes a breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? The previous one. Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates that you've written a lot of poetry before. Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time, really. Huh? Well, it's the first time on this route. Or loop. I keep on using route and loop interchangeably. I guess it's not really a route because it's not quite the same. But anyways. Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again. ... Well, I know that. I just meant, Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her finger along the words in the poem as if breaking it down more thoroughly. Yeah, okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, it can... What's going on here? What's going on in her head? End result is... Yep. Uh-huh. 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 Alright, do you mind if I read your poem now? I'd love to share my thought process. Yes, yes. Yeah, it's this one again. Okay. ... I'm sorry I have such terrible handwriting. Your handwriting's great. I think I said that last loop. What? I wasn't thinking that at all. But it took you a long time to read because it's very neat. I just don't read script very often. I actually, yes, that's a relief. I like the poem. Even though it's very short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short, longer, yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing. Yes, yes. Yeah, it's the same discussion as last time. Anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you. Yes, yes. You know, I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end I enjoyed it. I'm gonna keep doing my best for you, Moonin. Okay. Me too. Alright, whatever you say. I think that was different. Phew. I guess that's everyone. I glance around the room, and there was a little bit more stressful than I anticipated, but at least nobody glitch freaked out this time. You heard that too. Yeah, we're missing, yeah. Even though they're just being nice, yada yada. This is the literature club, I sigh, yada yada. Monica's writing something in her notebook, and they're sharing poems, and they dislike each other's. What's with this language? Oh, she's whispering. Did you say something? Oh, it's nothing. Da-da-da. I guess you could say it's fancy. Thanks, yours is cute. Cute, did you completely miss the symbolism or something? It's clearly about the feeling of giving up. How can that be cute? I know that, I just meant the language, I guess. I was trying to say something nice. You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Thanks, but it really didn't come out nice at all. Well, I do have a couple suggestions. If I was looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it, which people did, by the way. Monica liked it, and Moonin did too. So based on that blah blah blah, first of all, excuse me, princess. I appreciate the offer, yada yada. I don't expect it to change, yada yada, which I haven't. And Moonin liked my poem too. He even told me he was impressed, yada yada. Oh, it's going to get the thing. Dong 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 ding dun 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 da 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 da. Yep. Oh my gosh. This is really getting out of hand with that Sayori here. Back and forth. Counterbalance your toxic personality. The only cute thing is how hard you try. Well, be careful or you might cut yourself on that edge, Yuri. Oh, my bad. You already do, don't you? Did you just... Oh, boy. They're really trying to keep... Yeah. This is really scary! It wasn't the last time I asked Sayori for help. I don't know how to manage these two, and it's really getting out of hand, and I don't think whichever one I pick, it's just going to get worse. Because this isn't going to help. This is not going to help. Alright, the dice. Evens, I pick Natsuki. Odds, I pick Yuri. Even. What the What? It won't let me... It won't let me. I can't... Hi. How are you? Are you, having a good time there? Hey Moonin, why don't we step outside for a little bit? Okay. Sure, Miss Meta Lady. Okay. Yeah, we can. Sorry about that. They really shouldn't have tried to get you involved. It's probably better for us to stay out of this. Alright, Monica. We'll go back inside once they're done yelling. Ha. Some president I am, right? I can't even confront my own club members properly. I just wish I was able to be a little more assertive sometimes. But I never have it in me to put my foot down against others. You understand, right? Anyway, If this makes you want to spend less time with the others, then that's fine. I'd be happy to spend time with you instead. Uh-huh. Suddenly, Natsuki runs out of the classroom, with tears in her eyes. She quickly runs away. Oh dear. Well, it looks like they're done. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it. Yuri is rocking back and forth in her desk with her palms on her forehead. Yuri, I didn't mean it. I believe you. I have no idea what Yuri might have said to Natsuki. Or did. Moonin, please don't hate me. Please. I'm not like this. There's something wrong with me today. It's fine, Yuri. We know you didn't mean it. Besides, I'm sure Natsuki will forget all about it by tomorrow. I'm sure she won't. Completely. Monica, please don't. Anyway, the meeting is over, so you can go home now if you want. Yuri looks at me like she wants to say something, but she keeps glancing at Monica, because she's scary. You can go first, Monica. I'd like to stay a little bit longer. I'm the president, so I should be the last one out. I'll wait for you to be done, she says, staring over Yuri's shoulder. Well, I'm vice president, so please let me take that responsibility today. It kind of sounds like you don't want me around for something, Yuri. It's not that. It's not that. I didn't get much of a chance to discuss my book with Moonin. It would just be embarrassing with you listening. Sigh. I guess I don't really have a choice, do I? I'm sorry for causing trouble. But I really appreciate you